That's Mike.
That's Toya.
And this is Tech Beats and Bytes.
How are y'all doing today? Got to get used. We got cameras right in front of us now. Turn my head when I really need to talk to you. It's a lot to cover today.
As always.
Like a lot though. Got some people I need to call out. My bad. I'm watching the show with y'all.
Right.
So let's just get right into it. Just forget before we get too far down the road. I got my peanuts over there, don't I, Dante? I think Culture Infused Creation left us some peanuts.
Ooh, snacks.
A new watermelon flavor. So we're gonna try that. Yeah, real summer light.
All right.
So shout out to Digital Grass. Shout out to Cosmology, Timeline Brewery, Culture Infused Creations, Junction 2027, Medium 4, Year 60 Photography. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Oh, and we got a special shout out to Over 30 and Doing Us. It's a new group that's been sharing our content.
Yay, thanks, guys.
250,000 people in their group. So said we would shout them out. Yeah,
absolutely. Show some love. We show love back.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it happen. Appreciate you. So, as you guys know, we'll go ahead and get into the tech side of things. So I think we got a grand slam for tech. Last week, there was an announcement from Bumble and the Bumble founder that they are bringing on Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Serena Williams has been sought to invest in founders of color, so she decided to team up with the Bubble Fund, and pretty good move for her brand. But I'm just wondering, is there more things like this and we're not getting the coverage, or should we just be seeing more things like this from our celebrities? What do you think about that?
So what do you mean by more things like this not getting the coverage? Just people not being aware?
Investments in tech. Because, I mean, one of the things we've talked about on the show before that we've never really addressed is that back in the day, MC Hammer was a big investor. Chameleonaire was an investor in tech.
Yep.
So there's a lot of celebrities of color that are investing in tech, but we just don't get the coverage because we don't control the media.
But that's why we're here, right? Yeah, so we can talk about it. No, I definitely think that there needs to be a bit more emphasis on what we are doing. Everyone likes to talk about Nas and his investments, because he's made some really smart ones and he's been extremely successful, but there are more people who are doing it. I mean, Akon is doing some amazing things.
Akon's been at it for a while too.
Right. And so some of his stuff kind of bubbles up every now and then, but he's been moving for years and doing investments, especially when you're talking about on the continent. So I think we just need to talk about it more. So hopefully whoever people have PR teams, get your press releases out there, get some coverage so we can pick it up and talk about it.
So since you said talk about it more, Serena is also working with Ice Cube. So a lot of people that may not know out there, if you have been living under a rock, Ice Cube put together a league called the Big Three. And it's a basketball league. It has a lot of players, old players from the NBA, retired players. And so Ice Cube decided he was going to put together a team with Serena Williams, Snoop Dogg, Kevin Hart, Michael Strahan. That's his SMAC Productions. They're all producing content. So they're actually bidding for their own station and coverage. So they're looking to get on 21 Regional Sports Network, and they're doing this with Walt Disney. So I think that's a real dope move.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, though, they're talking about the Big Three is hoping to plan this mixed with live sports and with the diverse ownership and having youth-oriented content.
No, that's cool.
I definitely think we need something for the youth, but I hope when they mean youth, they just mean young to them. Because there's a generation between 29 and 19 that needs a whole lot of attention right now. I think that's are those the millennials?
Or are they the new Gen something else? Or
the new Gen XXY,
something
Z,
like that. Those.
Whatever it is.
Right, that group.
That group that's in Miami right now on South Beach for spring break. That whole group, they need a whole new, because that group didn't have what we had. That group, they missing Teen Summit.
Yeah, a different world.
Yeah, they just missing a lot of positive content.
Yeah,
so,
and just music too, diverse music choices.
I think we got something to talk about on that later on in the show too.
But no, that's cool. Big up to Ice Cube, because a lot of people did not expect the Big Three to be as successful as it was.
And it's actually entertaining too. Yeah. Them boys are intense though.
Yeah.
It's like them with an old man trying to get his groove back.
But I think it's cool because it just adds to the idea that you're never too young or you're never too old. Like, just get in. And this is a really good progression for those who still want to be a part of the sport but don't want to play in the league anymore. They could still do it. And it's not as grueling on, you know what I mean? Because they're like short games.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get in, get out, and not like...
Kind of not as grueling. It's still grueling because they old.
Yeah. But they're not on the court all that time like a regular game. So
quick note before we cheers. Dante, what's the flavor of the day from Timeline Brewery?
All right.
Mango?
It's lip smacking.
One of the,
Random one I picked was ginger.
so this is our ginger beer. So cheers.
Nice.
Yeah, we starting to drink more. It's gonna be that kind of year.
Ginger's good for digestion, y'all.
We'll always find an excuse to drink beer. Let's just make that clear. So let's talk about the boys in blue. Marky and his team.
That's Facebook, not the feds or the popo. Just so y'all know.
Well, I mean, in theory, though, Facebook watching more than the feds. Facebook is watching more than all the Alphabet Boys putting together. When the Alphabet Boys start using you to watch people, you're a snitch. Yeah, Mark, I just called you a snitch. So they've settled, I want to say another because I don't think it's the first one, but
no, not at all.
We have a settlement of another discrimination lawsuit.
Facebook stay in the courts.
So we had a lot of discussion about this with people's responsibilities for racism. But so Facebook ads, it was a targeting system allows companies to exclude certain groups from seeing their ads for things like housing and jobs. Overall, they had to do an overall to its full ad system, which of course is a major moneymaker. So they got to put a lot of money in. Again, hustle alert, might be time to buy some stocks. And I'm just wondering, how does this settlement affect the company moving forward? Because they're a publicly traded company now.
Right.
So if it was a privately traded company, I wonder if they could just say, we don't want to market to those people if we don't have to, because, in certain states, you can not hire people because they have dreads. So where do we draw the line to where publicly traded tech companies have to follow certain rules that publicly traded companies in general aren't following?
Yeah. So overall, because Facebook is a platform, so the fact that they built into their system a way for companies to discriminate, you know what I mean? They're not the ones discriminating, but they allow companies to discriminate is a red flag just up front. And when you think about the history of discrimination, this is like redlining in the digital space.
Talked about it.
Right. You're just basically like, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. Look the other way. Look over there. Actually, we're just not even going to let you know that it's on here because that's what we can do. Because it's a system. Right. You don't want a house. So we're not even going to let you know that it's here. And that's because it is tech, they can do it to where the person who's being discriminated against won't even know that they are because you don't see it. Unlike something like real estate where you know that you're being kept out of a community because it's obvious. It's something that you can physically see. This definitely needs to be addressed. They totally let this thing happen, let it go through. And it just speaks to Facebook again. They just think they can do whatever they want. And
Mark and his sister got problems.
They just do whatever they want.
You know what? Mark Zuckerberg didn't have any black friends when he was growing up. That's his problem.
I don't know what he did.
Mark never went and played in the hood.
I don't know.
He didn't play sports. We know that. Mark didn't have any black friends. Maybe he would have more empathy with this situation. Yeah.
So apparently you go to the ACLU website for more details on what's going on with it. But this is definitely something to watch, especially because of all the fire Facebook has been under for the last couple of years. This is a trend for them. And the catch, though, is that because so many people are on Facebook, it's like, when will the demise and the downside start to happen? When will people just start to really just disconnect from Facebook? It's because there's no other option. There's no other place to go that's like Facebook that you really can't leave.
Maybe because that's the thing. You can always tell somebody, oh, just go post it on LinkedIn. But that addiction to them likes and those comments.
Yeah.
I mean, I put something on LinkedIn, it's 4 likes. Put something on Facebook, it's 30, 100, 120. I mean, there's other platforms out there, but I'm also wondering, are other platforms doing it, and just because they're not as popular, would not monitor them as much?
Right.
I mean, is Black Planet discriminating? I'm sorry, I had to do that.
So
but everybody is responsible at this point.
Right. No, everybody is definitely responsible. Is Black Planet discriminating? No, Black Planet's not discriminating because they're not stopping you from coming on. It's that the content is targeted.
But you know the kind of people we have in our comment section. Somebody's going to bring up that whole thing about Black Planet and try to make it a whole different issue that it's not. But I definitely feel that it's a it's a problem that needs to be addressed. But Mark, get you some more diverse friends. Obviously, Maxine ain't in there telling y'all what to do with diversity and inclusion. Long pause.
Right. They missed that whole memo.
But I do have something exciting I want to talk about.
Oh, what's that?
The essence of Apple. So there's a lot of stuff that Apple
Play on
did
words?
this week. Yes, you like that?
Yeah, go.
You know, it took me a long time to type that. I was tired, but guys, we have to produce our own content too. But so check this out. So I'm gonna kind of reverse it because of flow it is. But so yesterday, Apple tapped into their Billy McFarlane, and they came out with the Apple Card.
Yes, they did.
Which is nothing but Billy Farley's Magnesis card. It's the same.
We talked about that. Apple will scope the landscape. Oh, we like that. Let's roll that out. Make the announcement.
Apple tapped into their inner Billy McFarlane, and they decided they were going to make an Apple Card. There's no number, no expiration date. You pick how much you want to pay off. So basically, all y'all about to be forever in debt. Not only paying for that iPhone for 3 years, but also paying off this Apple Card. So then they have the streaming wars. I think I want to say that part for last. Apple Arcade, which I think is a great way to combat what Google is coming out with. You can't ignore gaming. Gaming is way too powerful. You got cities starting to build gaming arenas just for gaming. So that's going to be a big thing. But the thing that came out and why the play on words came into place was the essence of Apple. So Apple relaunched this news service. Never knew Apple had a news service. I know the little news thing. That's a pop-up, but I guess I don't know if this is like going to be more content news, but they released it with an exclusive with Essence.
Yeah, it's a magazine partnership. They're partnering with different magazines to feature their content.
So the April cover was Issa Rae, and it was a celebration of diversity of beauty. And it comes 1 month after Essence launch. I think it's 1 month or one month in a year after Essence launch. Well, it's 1 month after Essence launched its first ever digital cover. It's a year after Essence went digital. This is the problem I had. Are we really gonna give Essence credit for being digital this late in the game? Because it's kind of late to have digital content as a magazine. I mean, Jet could have did that and maybe stayed alive.
Yeah, so there's a trend happening, and I was actually reading an article about it today.
And is that Earl's Grave Jr.? That's him?
No, Essence was actually bought by Rich from Shea Moisture.
Okay.
He bought it. But so there's a whole trend now where you're seeing tech companies like Facebook and Google and Apple who are trying to help the print and news industry because these industries are tanking fast. So tech is starting to sort of reach back and like, let's help you get digital so then that way we can keep these news outlets, especially local news outlets in particular. Not that Essence is local, but the trend of taking what was once print and bringing it online is what's happening. So I think it's kind of cool what Apple's doing by having this sort of news section that features exclusive content from like Essence or Cosmopolitan, whatever other magazines that will be featured, because it just makes the content accessible.
But has the Essence content become more, because a lot of stuff to me now is already Afrocentric mainstream. Like, we're the trendsetters. They're following the stuff that's happening in that community of celebrities. Is Essence tapping into something we don't know or that we're not aware of? Or is it just the same stuff now? I mean, Essence, Black Enterprise to me had a great opportunity. Black Enterprise was doing some of their digital content. They were doing dope stuff, but the digital content wasn't getting much exposure as the other stuff. I feel like these are things where they've had the opportunity and it just becomes a missed opportunity. Is it too little too late?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because of what I was saying, you have digital giants now being a part of sort of helping to revive print in the digital space. So I think that is actually right on time because they will be a part of this movement to help keep these sort of platforms and these, content creators alive.
So I would say for alert, maybe we come back. That's one of those topics we table and we try to come back to it 6 months from now and see how it's going.
Absolutely. So
now we have the streaming wars. If we had a motions graphics team, that would have been like Star Wars.
Right.
It would have came out like that. Oprah is now making documentaries with. That was the sound effects. Streaming wars, go.
Right.
Oprah is making documentaries with Apple on this new streaming service. Game over. I just want y'all to know that. Actually, it's not because there's a lot of other people. A lot of other
Yeah. You got the Obamas on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's everywhere.
It's gonna be a hell of a war. Like the only person I see getting left out right now is the people we talked about last week, and y'all didn't call us. AT&T, DirecTV. Y'all losing. The whole point when we say stuff like that to you guys is you call us, you give me and my whole team free services, and then we talk positive about you for a show. But y'all didn't even do that. No. And since we're not streaming on your networks and we're streaming through Xfinity, thank you Xfinity for the high-speed internet, y'all just failing. So Oprah already has Toxic Labor, which is a documentary that focuses on the sexual harassment at the workplace, and another multi-part documentary centered on mental health. So Oprah's jumping in and going right in.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be exciting, but who's going to make all this content? So now we're going to have Apple TV, Apple streaming. Mm-hmm. Disney going to come out with their thing. Disney got Fox. Then you're going to have Netflix. Hulu is still killing it. So I'm thinking maybe the Hulu, Disney, and that's going to be a whole partnership waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I don't really think Disney's going to spend all that money reinventing that platform. So I don't see how Comcast wins in this, though. I definitely don't see how DirecTV wins. You're getting left with pretty much nothing but HBO, Showtime, and the news. And I'm pretty sure if Apple News is going to make the move I think they should make, and this is the part I wanted to come back to, if Apple News is going to make the move I think they're going to make, Apple News is probably going to buy direct streaming rights to like the after shows and the additional shows from CNN. You know how like Anderson Cooper does his thing. Somebody needs to pick up Roland Martin. I don't agree with everything he says, but I do believe he has good content.
And there's space for him.
Yeah, there's more space for the news, and you got like the Young Turks, the TYT. So I'm assuming some of these streaming services will pick up those as almost an alternative news source, which some people feel more comfortable trusting with the addiction to social media, and just also because they verify in a different way and they don't have the same motives because they're not answering to sponsors and advertisement. So I'm just wondering how much are the actual networks going to have to start competing to where Xfinity don't start slowing down your service because you're not streaming anything from them anymore.
Right. So
that's what I'm worried about.
So so the Young Turks, they're actually on Pluto TV, which is a streaming app that Nas bought into, and that was bought by Viacom for maybe $35 million or something like that.
Nas got a smart financial advisor.
Yeah.
We need to find out who's on his team.
Yeah, no, Nas
and I'm not
made
saying
some good
Nas
moves.
isn't making the moves himself. I'm sure he listens.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was one of his partners that is doing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, he's made some really great moves. But going back to the idea of what streaming looks like, no, I was wondering that too, especially with the whole thing with Viacom, and then last week, or with this week, whenever it was happening, and how Nickelodeon was like showing the little on-screen graphics like AT&T will be discontinuing this channel and more
I was trying to watch Martin and it was popping up all over the screen. I was like, bro, really?
Meanwhile, the channels are still there.
Sounds real desperate.
Exactly. But so I think that's just interesting because you're seeing more people starting to cut the cord, and we were about to cut the cord, just because the only reason why we didn't, and I wanted to see if Nickelodeon was actually going to go away, is because of a toddler. So we just have to have cartoons accessible. But, I think that, what you're going to start to see is that people just start to embrace these other apps. Pluto TV, you got Tubi, you have, like you said, Hulu. There's a lot of different platforms that you can access to get content.
Well, speaking of the young prince of our family, your son, Apple is announcing that there's a Sesame Street themed show that will teach kids coding basics.
Look at that.
So I think
2-year-olds coding. That's where I'm at.
So are you going to sit around and teach your son how to code with Sesame Street?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we would do. Potty training and coding.
Change your diaper, go get your laptop.
Right. All at the same time. I'm here for it.
And for those that don't know, Apple does have its own coding language. It's called Swift, but I think it's great that we're going to have a 2-year-old learning how to code.
Yes. Is
he going to play any sports?
Yeah. He's into basketball. He likes football.
Yeah, he does like basketball.
He likes soccer.
His daddy likes basketball too.
Yeah.
So that's going to work
out. He's into all of it. He could rap. He could interview. He's a multifaceted young man.
So I just want to say I can't really release all the information, but the Smith family reached out to one of our exclusive business partners from
The Smith being
Will and Jada.
there we go. You gotta drop the first name.
They're about to start making some stuff too. So it's a lot of things happening in
Nice.
the content arena.
That's where I'm at. Look, come pick us up. We ready.
Just remember we told y'all that. And Google, we waiting for y'all to send us a link. Y'all looking for podcasters? What's up?
Hello.
We ain't said nothing negative about y'all yet.
Hello.
It's coming though. It's coming.
Yeah, and we local. We both sides, podcast and local news.
That's what you said.
Holla at us.
Knight Foundation, we here.
Ready.
So the Mac menu. So McDonald's has a wish and a prayer and a dream that the $300 million tech deal that they just put in place that's going to revolutionize menus is going to make you guys come back to McDonald's. Dynamic Yield is going to create personalized menu boards for diners.
Okay.
So
I guess.
you you not excited that you're going to have a personalized menu when you come in to McDonald's and you pull up on the digital screen and it's going to facially recognize that it's you, LaToya, and it's going to put up the exact menu items that you've been craving because you text about it on your phone. I don't know how they're going to do this.
I was gonna say that is real nosy McDonald's.
I
You
have
be in
no
my
idea.
business like that,
This is my thing.
and I'm not there anyway, so it don't matter.
There's desperate and then there's this. So I'm wondering, is McDonald's taking the approach like we had discussed with other things, where maybe McDonald's is thinking the food isn't going to work out for us.
Those forever fries that stay in your colon.
Right. Really? Wow. That's a t-shirt to wear when you go into the store. Forever
That's what they
fries.
do.
Forever in your
You
colon.
can find them a year later and they have no mold on them. They just like that forever.
So
But they're good though. I used to eat a bucket when I was in high school.
A
I'm just
bucket?
saying. Yeah, I used to have a bucket of fries when I was in high school. That used to be my like after school snack. Really bad, guys. I don't do that anymore.
wait, a bucket of fries?
A bucket? Y'all didn't have a bucket of fries?
Maybe that was like that was a down south thing. You talking about McDonald's made a bucket of fries?
It was a bigger bucket of fries. Yeah.
We missed that, bro. Like, that wasn't popping in the panhandle. We was eating chitlins and stuff. That wasn't happening. A bucket of fries?
A bucket of fries.
Well,
With
I'm
that
sorry,
barbecue
guys.
sauce.
For those that are
Be
watching, you can
popping.
see my face. For those that are listening, there's people listening to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to describe this bucket of fries for me real quick.
So I don't remember what the bucket looked like, but it was like almost like the like oversized popcorn that you get now at the movie theaters.
You lying?
I am not. Google McDonald's bucket of fries.
Don't Google that.
Yeah, so bucket of fries.
So y'all used to have a bucket of death.
Bucket of forever fries chilling in my colon.
How much was that?
I don't remember.
Oh.
It wasn't that expensive. It was McDonald's. Come on now.
Oh wow.
It wasn't that. It was not that. It was not that. But anyway,
Okay, we get the idea.
yeah, it was just a lot of fries.
So McDonald's, if you guys are investing into the tech world, that's great. I understand it because it does say that you're making menu board. It says for diners. I don't know if it's just for their diners. I'm hoping it's for other people's diners and they just made an investment. But yeah, I mean, sell some of your real estate. Turn them into coding camps. We made a suggestion a long time ago. Dream like a kid, do business like a boss.
Y'all want to add that they've been finding fecal matter on the touchscreens?
No, because there's fecal matter everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna
These
say.
places are dirty.
Touchscreens are gross. Period.
Just wear gloves everywhere you go.
Hand sanitizer immediately. But what I was going to say about this whole tech revolutionizing menus, I think that that's a bigger thing for the industry. Will it have a huge payoff for McDonald's? Maybe, maybe not. But the technology, I could see that being even more in play and like used at restaurants.
Right.
Like high-end experiences where you kind of go for the whole experience. McDonald's is like whatever. I don't know. But that's fine. I think it'll be cool. That's just a revolutionizing of like retail, basically. Retail is being digital and retail brick and mortar is starting to merge.
I think McDonald's just need to rework everything. Just break it all down and start over. They need to go back to like the 5 basics.
Yeah.
They trying too much. And plus Wendy's is still killing y'all on social media.
Oh, they are. But that branding, that branding is everything. Because my 2-year-old could spot a McDonald's anywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
It's bad.
You'll never be the Happy Meal, but I just think they got too much on their menu now. They tried to please too many people, and it's just not going to work. I mean, at least they're not like the people that were tied to the Nazis.
What?
Yeah. Panera Bread.
Oh, okay.
It was Panera Bread and another company they had to Krispy Kreme. So you can't even eat donuts no more.
What? I missed that headline. So,
Franchise owner.
oh, a franchise owner, not the corporate, not the company. Gotcha.
Oh, man. We should have read more into that. So, 1 million ways to diversify tech. It's just a quick one. The Kapoor Center is giving away $1 million to help diversify tech. Tech Done Right National Challenge. They're going to provide a range of $100,000 to $150,000 to individuals and organizations that can help implement solutions to diversify the tech industry. I'm trying to understand something. I know some people at the Kapoor Center. We've had them. We've met them. They've come here from their cities. They've come to Black Tech Week. Mm-hmm. Do people really want to fix this problem? Because we can't implement things into privately owned companies and make them follow rules that they just don't want to follow.
Yeah. So this is starting to feel like World Health Aid organizations, where they just kind of like take money and throw money at a situation, and the people really don't see the money. That's what that's starting to feel and sound like. It'll be interesting to kind of know a little bit more about how they plan to actually like implement the solutions. And it's not just like a think tank or a brainstorm or a sort of like charrette, a design charrette for tech diversity, where you just kind of like coming up with ideas and, oh, that's awesome, great, here goes some money. And then what happens next?
Because I'm saying they can give us $150,000 at Digital Grass, and we can just go talk to everybody at these companies and say, quit being racist, and go recruit from different schools. That's your implementation. I mean, I will gratefully do that for $150,000 a year. But there's no secret
Sauce.
app or software or
there's no sauce, guys. It's just do it.
There's no bylaws that you can add. Like, change your executive suite.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, we would happily take the money, but do you guys really want people that's going to crack down on people to make a change versus people that's going to take the job and some stock options and work there for a little bit and quit?
Right, because bias and discrimination and racism, it's on a personal level too. It's not just institution, because there are people who are making these decisions that are happening, that are impacting the workforce and how they hire. Like these are people doing these things. So you have to.
This is not the software.
Right. The software is not like, unless you program it that way.
I
like
mean, you see
Facebook.
What happened with Facebook. So look, this is the thing I thought you would find interesting. The applicants are required to complete video responses and grant proposals.
Okay.
If accepted, the money can be used in conjunction with other organizations to cover grant-related expenses. So I figured this might as well just be our grant application for you at Kapoor Center. The only way you're going to change or be able to implement anything for diversity, inclusion, and technology is what we've been doing and how we pivoted, change the narrative, and give more exposure to situations and people of color in technology, because we've been proven over and over again we cannot change the core mentality of companies and how they operate. There's a similar situation going on right now in the commercial law section, where over 50 major Fortune 500 companies in commercial law signed this pledge for diversity, more diversity in the commercial law section, and they all signed. You're talking about Shell, Unilever, all these large companies. And while they've signed this pledge, we proposed a platform through Gateway Legal to commercial law around, and yeah, it's going to be this kind of year. I'm just about to start calling people out for stuff we've already proposed and y'all didn't really want to do nothing about it. We proposed this to them, and it was a platform called Gateway Legal, where it would keep metrics and show the growth and show the opportunities of how they've started hiring more lawyers of color or outsourcing to more minority-owned law firms to actually show this. So they make this pledge 5 years later after they turn down our software and turn down the opportunity. So I just hit them back and I was like, this sounds great, but how are you going to keep up with the metrics? How are you going to show that you've done anything of value? How are we actually going to be able to see the increase? What are you awarding people that's actually going to report these metrics? What actually comes besides making the pledge?
Right.
Because that's what it feels like. Let's just make this pledge to say we did it so everybody will be off our back. Because there's still like $300 million from Intel that was supposed to go into diversity and inclusion that we haven't seen yet.
Crickets.
So personally, Kapoor, put more money into people like us that call people out, because that's really the only thing that you can do. So this is our grant submission. We need money. We're operating Sony cameras. We have a director that has to get our beer, edit, set up the cameras.
He works hard, y'all.
We're hosts. We're associate producers. Mm-hmm. We need help. It should be at least 4 more people in here helping us do this every week. And if we have more people, we can pull in more content and produce more content. But you're only going to change it by bringing more awareness to the actual positive things, not just how all these big companies are still leaving us out. We tried it for the last 4 years. They've pretty much proven to us that they're not going to break. So just share the information. I mean, we aren't just talking about it. We're actually out here creating and making a change of something that we can control. We need $150,000.
Basically, bottom line.
Just to do this year round. We are dedicating a lot to our community. Mm-hmm. So you don't even have to just give us the money. Just buy $100,000 worth of advertisement and we'll advertise the other $900,000 that y'all need to give away. Let's try that. All right. So I didn't know about this, but I don't know if you noticed. I love my headlines this week.
Y'all can't see our document, but yeah, go ahead.
500 sex scandals.
Uh-huh.
So David McClure, who is one of the co-founders of 500 Startups, you know, he got pushed out of the company in 2017 amidst a lot of the Me Too movement, and he was removed from the company. But he's already said to be raising another fund. So
bounce back.
Right. And I'm not going to talk about his fund because we're not going to give shine to a sexual predator. But he's raising a new fund to invest into other venture firms worldwide, according to 2 people that are familiar with the plans. So we know about all the sex scandals with stuff that's going on in technology. It's a very macho environment. You know, the boys club. But when are white men that have committed sexual crimes, and when are they going to start being punished for their actions to where it's not just let them keep the money and keep going? I mean, Tom Brady cheated and everything, still got to keep the Super Bowl. Robert Kraft is on video getting happy endings reported by the police of Jupiter. I'm pretty sure they're not going to make him sell the Patriots. But Colin Kaepernick, all he did was protest against police brutality, and he can't play football no more.
But are you surprised?
I'm disgusted. I'm not even disgusted. I'm disappointed. I think there's a point where you stop being, I think when you stop being angry and you just become disappointed, it's actually more action of what you might do about the cause. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it, because I'm not going to get into political stuff. I'm not going to get into legislation, and I don't want to be a senator. But
yeah. So yeah,
I'm just saying Kapoor just was talking about inclusion and diversity.
Right. So when you think about America and the country that it is, you know, born and raised here. But when you really sort of just dive into the history of the country and the scandal runs deep in the fiber of this country, in the idea of criminal behavior, right? Because some of the people who sort of came here and settled here from Europe, they were criminals. So I don't know. I think that there is a love for the criminal behavior. There's definitely forgiveness that gets applied unevenly. We had talked about justice being blind. We know she's not blind. That chick can see all day.
Everything.
She can see all day.
She got on Gucci shades.
Right. She'll just look the other way. for some and not others. That's just the nature of where we are. And that's where it comes into making sure that we have people who are in the right places to help to push legislation for those who are not trying to do that. People in the private sector to do what they can do. Because at the end of the day, we just have to kind of come to our own devices. Nobody's going to do it for us. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you talking about, there was reports of sex trafficking through Salesforce, and Salesforce just signed multi-billion-dollar deals with the Pentagon and with the government.
Right.
Like, that's the software of choice.
There's a real underbelly in America, and it actually helps to fuel the country. Like, as much as people try to crack down on, like, the sex industry has been here for forever. Sex is not going away. And it's not, you know what I mean? So sex trafficking, period, is like dead wrong. Right. Yes. But the underbelly of it, when you think about sort of how this country operates and how it moves, a lot of times we just learned about the whole college admissions scandal. Mm-hmm. Like there's behavior that is inherent in how things move here. And for those who want to be blind to it, you're not observing what's actually happening in front of you. So how can you navigate and how can you move in this space if you don't actually acknowledge what's actually going on?
And since you mentioned
like
college
Salesforce, dude, Salesforce is used for almost everything.
Everything.
And now for sex, like that's crazy.
Recruitment, sales.
Yeah.
I know A&G.
Massive platform.
Yeah, it's huge. But speaking of college scandal, real quick, I think some people need to differentiate what Dr. Dre was trying to say about his daughter not cheating to get accepted into the University of Southern California. I just want to make this real clear because I was thinking about it. At first, my initial response was, of course your daughter's going to get accepted. You purchased a $70 million building and built the whole music school there. But let's just be clear. He did that before his daughter was even taking any SAT. Right. These people were taking photos of their kids and
photoshopping
them
and
never did anything. Yeah. So don't compare what Dre did by making a investment that he wanted to make into a university comparison to a mother who was trying to make sure her child got accepted into college. Not a comparison. I just wanted to clear that up real quick.
Absolutely.
It was bothering me.
But again, that goes to the whole, that too. That whole idea of having to include everything.
Right.
When one thing is not like the other. Yeah. Like since we were talking about Sesame Street, let's go back to that just basic learning.
I'm just saying.
One thing is not like the other.
Or even so.
Differentiate.
You know, I don't see them doing that with crime. So y'all don't lump crimes together. So why y'all trying to do this with an investment in a scandal? Like, leave Dre out of this. Right,
but that again goes back to the point. Justice ain't blind. That chick could see. She said, I'm going to loop this in and make it this part. So that's huge versus what's actually going on because, hey, we're not going to really pay attention to what they're doing. Like, y'all, we got to wake up. People be trying to say they woke, but are you really woke? Like, are you really saying what's happening?
Sleep at the wheel with Tesla driving you. So a little bit about our local stuff that's going on, local technology. Antique, a pioneer and leading player in the property tech sector, is being acquired. Aquicore is a Washington, D.C. company, based real estate company and software, and they've acquired Antique, which is another merger acquisition that's coming out of the South Florida area in the tech space, which is kind of good and kind of scary. All of our companies are getting bought up. I just hope they actually stay down here. Antique was unique also because it's an Endeavor company, and everybody down here knows about Endeavor. If you guys don't know about Endeavor, you should look it up. And it was also backed by the Blackstone Group, and it was founded by Carlos Diaz and Manuel Rosendo in 2011. But guess where it's actually based?
Where?
Pembroke Pines.
Oh, down the street.
The Miami region. Also in Broward, where the other 4 companies that got acquired were at. But I just want to say congratulations to them guys. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, that's cool. Congrats.
So you, that next one is all up in your alley.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah.
So Instagram, is doing some major things, especially to help small businesses because they recognize the power of their platform. So they're launching a shopping cart checkout, charging sellers a fee. So Checkout with Instagram launched last week in the U.S. with more than 20 top brands And so we presented a concept like this to Comcast. You maybe want to dive into that, about how to do this with your remote for items that were tagged through augmented reality. And they said that it was a crazy idea. So users can pay with PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. Instagram plans to allow merchants to integrate their Shopify, BigCommerce, Channel Advisor, and Commerce Hub platforms, which is cool.
So we're going to tap back into that part that Toya just graced over. So this concept, the reason why I wanted you to bring it up, is we actually had something called the ear card that you guys may have heard about. One day we'll wear the throwback T-shirts. And we actually bought this idea to Comcast about 8 years ago now. Is that right, Nante? Would it be 8 to 10 years ago? 2008. Yeah, it was 2008, 2009. So we had an ear card concept, and the concept was digitally when commercials ran on Comcast, or when there were certain products on a TV show, that you could actually use your remote, highlight the product, or say like Honda was talking about an oil change that they were doing,
right?
Special oil change.
And check out through the TV.
Yeah, you would just check out, hit the C button on your TV, buy it right there, and they would charge you an additional fee, but it would just be added to your Comcast bill, and it would come off of what card you ever had set up onto your Comcast account. So to see this happening, it's kind of cool. There's some other guys too that's a little further north in the Dayton, Ohio area that was working on a similar concept like this, and they took it a little bit further than we did. I don't know if they've ever executed it, but it's cool to be ahead of the curve, but sometimes things like this it's like a stick in the side. Like, man, you should have just stuck with it a little bit longer.
Yeah, those moments suck. They do.
I'm wondering how much this will change the influencer game now, because if I'm an influencer and you making direct sales, I want to report and I want a direct percentage of those sales.
Right.
So I'm wondering how much does this change it for you influencers out there. If you're watching the show, chime in, let us know. Is this going to affect your pay? Does this help your pay? How do you guys feel about it?
So as a brand whose majority of cosmology, a lot of our audience comes from Instagram directly. One of the things that Instagram needs to do, especially if they're going to really get into like shopping and purchasing and on the platform, is have a better customer service and like support.
Does Instagram even have customer service?
No, that's my point. That is my point. Because, for instance, so Shopify, and it's interesting that they're trying to integrate with Shopify, because a lot of Shopify stores actually get denied from being able to product tag. Like we were. We were denied, but there's no explanation on why or what we need to fix to make sure that we're able to product tag. So that's why on our posts, you don't see us tagging the products, because we can't. We deny, but there's no one we can contact to be like, hey, what do we need to fix? And there's no like response or directly information on like, take these steps to correct the issue and resubmit. There's no process. So I'm not really that excited for this unless they're going to fix their whole infrastructure and actually have someone you can call, or a number, or a support chat.
Just call Facebook. Don't they own Instagram anyways?
Listen, and to show you how like broken it is, you can have a Facebook store and then Instagram will still deny you. So how is Facebook allowing us to post products, but y'all not? Aren't y'all the same, one and the same? No, not really, because you're not.
You have your blue check yet?
What?
You're verified? You got your blue check mark?
No, but you only get verified if there's like an issue with sort of possibly having another account that has your name. So Instagram only verifies if there's a potential fraud account that's out there. If there's no fraud, then they're not going to verify you. Yeah.
Oh, well.
But that has nothing to do with product tagging. So fix that first and then get fancy with your e-commerce.
She told y'all, fix it.
That's what I have to say.
That's what she said, fix it. She ain't happy about that.
No, I'm not. So we can't take advantage of it.
Going back local again, so Magic Leap 1 has, of course, pulled their sales. They haven't been selling, but the new Magic Leap 1 will be available at the AT&T stores. So AT&T will sell it exclusively online, and as well as the stores that start next week. And the sales partnership is the only part of the collaboration with these two companies, because AT&T doesn't have good enough service to stream your content magically. But so AT&T will be producing a DirecTV Now app for the headset mobile data services. So, and this is supposed to tie into, of course, the 5G network. Do you want to get that immersed in the TV that you're going to watch it on a...
Nope.
Okay.
So I have a thing with having too much
Going on?
stuff, especially close to my head, because I had my AirPods in, or whatever they called, and I was checking out of those, and I was checking out at a checkout station, and the lady was like, you know that they came out and they said that those cause cancer? I was like, listen, all this stuff I'm sure causes cancer. And if you have it too close to your body, like these waves and things interact with us in very unique ways, and we don't necessarily know enough about it.
You should have told her she was cancerous. Like, do you know being around me?
Right. I was like, I'm sure they do.
But
anyway.
Just don't touch my hair. That's what.
Right.
So EA, which is a gaming giant, they're having layoffs. Now, this was kind of a shock to me because, let me take that back. The headliner was a shock. The headliner was a shock because it was EA is laying off 350 to 9,000 employees globally. And most people that are hearing that like, oh man, EA is laying people off. But they're only laying people off in the marketing and publishing departments. And they're ramping down their presence in Japan and Russia. So they've actually closed their Japanese office entirely. So this is what I'm thinking. Maybe they're just doing so good in America with our addiction to gaming. You don't need that many people to do the marketing. It's speaking for itself. So are they really ramping down, or did they just get rid of dead weight that they don't need?
Possibly, or are they just taking a lot of their stuff outside? So they're using agencies to do more of their marketing and publishing. So they didn't have a need to have in-house staff.
But I mean, like, EA made some great moves, even with some of their strategic partnerships. You got to think they had somebody like, they had HaHa Davis as a representative that was actually included in NBA 2K. So you got these social influencers that are now becoming a part of your game. I don't think this is actually a ramping down. I think it's just a layoff of dead weight because...
Yeah. They're trimming the fat.
Yeah. Like, that's just corporate decisions. I think this is a very good move. And I know when people see certain things, it's like, oh, well, how's that going to affect the industry? I'll tell you what I'm about to do is I told you guys we would do this. And, of course, we are not legally bound to this. Do not take my advice. I'm just telling you what I'm about to go buy me some EA stocks. Because if you trimming fat, that's just giving you the opportunity to increase your profit margin.
Right.
So I'm about to go get some stocks.
And who knows? They may be trying to store up some cash to like release something new.
To go.
Product development.
Because you got to think everybody now is going to have to streamline that content and make that content work better to work with Stadia and everything else. You got to streamline your services to make it work on a streaming service. All puns intended. This was one of the last ones in our tech and news, and then we're going to get into our entertainment. Actually, I'm going to skip that one. I don't feel like giving them.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Down the beats.
So, I totally pasted that into the wrong thing, but the 50-year anniversary of Woodstock is coming up. So, they're wondering now with all the public turmoil and how the government is going, will Woodstock be able to recreate that energy of peace, love, and music and peace, love, and art that it had 50 years ago? What do you think?
No, I think that was a one-time situation. Because certain things you just
can't recreate. By the way, guys, we did not edit that and speed that up. She responded that fast.
I just think that certain things you just can't necessarily repeat. Like how the part 2 of a movie series is like, oh, that was kind of like whack. You just should have stayed with the first one.
Just like the anniversary that they had with Woodstock the first time. It was a total disaster.
Yeah, no, I just leave it alone.
Total disaster. You know, they had mudslides.
Right.
Right.
It just was a memorable experience. One of them things where you reflect back on, you're like, oh my God, that was so magical. But in the moment, it was probably like the Fire Fest in the Bahamas.
While we're saying that, though, I plan on buying tickets. Jay-Z is headlining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be Jay-Z, Dead and Company. I'm not too excited about Miley Cyrus. Imagine Dragons.
Ooh, Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, see, that'd be
I'm
fun.
a fan of them.
The Black Keys and Chance the Rapper.
Cool.
So, I don't know. I think as a music and art fair, I'm willing to check it out. But I will admit this will be one of those points of life where I will be bougie if there is not a VIP package. Because what I would not be doing is going to those dirty porta potties
Well, have they sort of laid out the marketing for it with like some visuals?
Yeah, the site is up, but I have no idea what the site looks like, and they haven't even released the dates.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the waiting list to see, but I plan on going.
Let me know how it goes. I don't know. I just feel like with Coachella, Burning Man, like we have newer versions of Woodstock that I think are already dope and they have a good.
But I mean, it's
following.
in New York. I figure, take the DJI Osmo Pocket, film some stuff, and be able to say I was there.
Oh, you want to be a part of history.
Yeah, and if it's bad, just leave. There's other parts of New York to go to. So, pump it or dump it. I think, what did we call that last week? I forgot.
Pump it, dump it.
Yeah, see, we got sound effects. This week, for definitely bumping it is Kyl Dion. He has an album called Sugar. I don't know this cat, but he's from South Florida.
Nice. What's up? Local.
So he has a great vibe, R&B. I mean, really R&B soul for sure. One of my favorite songs on there is "Fly Little Bird." It's a dope album. It's a listen through, not a whole bunch of skips. The only problem I had with this album though is it kind of sounded like it was recorded in a home studio, and I don't know if he just wanted to go for that feel. But as I've been watching TJ's DJs, as TJ would say, bro, your mixing, your mastering was off. You just need to mix it a little bit better. It just, I literally go into audition and remove some of the humming sounds. And well, actually, Dante has fixed that. We fixed that. But even I can go in and remove some of the sounds he had in the background of his music.
Yeah.
But Kyl Dion, that's Kyle Dion. His album is called Sugar. He has one more album. Great album to go download and listen to. And trust me, I wish we had rights to music. Because at this point, this would be the point where we would like run a sample of his music in the background.
No, that'll be cool. One day, guys. One day.
So, Cardi. We had to get into a little bit of controversy. So, Cardi B has everybody mad, Toya, because of her admission that she was drugging and robbing men, and all she could say was she never claimed to be perfect.
So the Me Too movement can swing both ways is all I'm saying.
I'm just wondering why everybody upset. We listen to rap music that's literally about robbing, killing. I mean, battle rap is nothing but about guns and similes and metaphors of how to use guns on people to kill people and hurt them. So are y'all mad because somebody that's actually talking about the stuff they do that's illegal, they actually did it? I'm trying to figure out where the anger comes from, because if y'all are listening to music and mad about Cardi B's action, there's a lot of music y'all shouldn't be listening to right now.
And that was her point, because I didn't necessarily hear her full rebuttal, but I heard, I think it may have been like Karen Hunter or somebody. You
didn't hear her rebuttal?
They were recanting it. No, I heard it like third party. So they were just saying how she was like, you have, to your point, rappers and everybody else who talks about this gangster life, killing people, selling drugs in the community, and yet they're still adored and loved. So she's like, why when I share my truth, y'all hate on me?
Cardi. I like Cardi. Cardi is somebody I would want to go drinking with. Cardi was like,
are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I would make my own drinks. I would have to make my own drinks because I ain't got enough money for her to rob me. She'll be disappointed. Okay.
Not today. Not today.
Oh, Cardi. Oh, that was funny. All right. So since we dropping knowledge, I guess we dropping cases too.
How so?
Jussie.
Yeah.
Jussie is free, y'all.
But is he completely? I had heard that it wasn't completely. The charges was dropped, but he's still like in trouble.
No, so allegedly, for the whole 2 men and everything that happened, the DA she dropped all 16 charges. So the actual statement is that our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jussie is neither of those. First Assistant Cook County State Attorney Joseph Maggots told CBS News. And this is what his reasoning was of why they would abandon the case. Even if they felt the actor was guilty, they felt it wasn't something big enough to actually pursue. So I'm sure, if anything, in Cook County, R. Kelly wondering if he can get some stuff dropped off of him, but
womp.
So we have this in our notes because we do have an AP Daniels. Mm-hmm. Are we actually happy that a black man beat the system, or did he actually get beat and we just don't know? I mean, I don't really know how to feel. I really don't feel anything about it, but it is something that's trending in the beat section. I mean, it's tech beats and Bytes, so this is our entertainment section. So
this the beats part.
This is the beats part. So
yeah,
I don't know how to feel about it.
Me either, to a certain extent, but I think that the danger of it is that one, I'm interested to see how his career rebounds, if it does after this.
Wasn't he already dropped from the show? Didn't he get killed? I don't watch.
No, he was still on there. Because remember, in the beginning, Lee Daniels was like, no, his career, his role is safe. And then after the end, it was like, oh, wait a minute, you gone. So I don't know. But
so did he get dropped from the show or not?
I think so. Based on what happened afterwards, when it came out that he was lying about what happened to him, it was like, oh, Lee Daniels was like, you out. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. But I don't know. I think that.
So will Lee take him back now?
That's the thing. Like, who knows what's going to happen with his career? But then on the flip side, it's kind of like I'm a little like, I'm not quite feeling you. You a little bit of a sleazeball. Like, you was lying. Slory. You was, you got some foul on you. You need to kind of stay over there a little bit. Time out for you for a long time.
Now, shout out to our boy David. What it does make me question is the quality of the Chicago Police Department. I will tell you that. That part I don't feel comfortable about. Now, the one issue we do want to address.
Chicago has been like mirrored in like scandal and like corruption since I don't know when.
You know what though? All I have to say is if you go to Chicago in January through February, you understand why they commit crimes. The hawk is real.
The cold made me do it.
The cold will make you hate people if you got to sit inside I can't imagine catching a bus with that kind of cold. Chicago cold is not, in the way it just that wind come off of that lake.
No, it's not for everybody.
Now, what I do want to address is, since we are in the media world now, quit pointing out that they're Nigerian Americans to the news people and to everybody writing these articles up. I don't know if the Nigerian connection is necessary, because when white people get arrested, I've never heard the Irish Americans, Greek Americans, or anything else when they're committing crimes. I mean,
that's just dog whistling.
We already had to deal with the fact that when we commit crimes, y'all find the worst picture for black people. When white people commit crimes, y'all get their baby photos, their graduation photos, the one with Mickey Mouse and everything else. So quit doing it. Media to media, you know, we got to have these conversations now. Media to media, just quit doing that. Like, first of all, quit even relating it to them, because they're not guilty of nothing. Just leave their name out of it.
Right, but that just speaks back to the whole idea of a double standard. What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. So they'll continue to sit there and do that because they're trying to call attention to the fact that, one, they're not true Americans. They came from Nigeria. Nigeria already has that reputation of having those like phishing scams and stuff with people, like they taking people money on the internet for people who sit there and believe the emails that they get about somebody needing some money to get out of jail or whatever. So they're playing on that. They're playing on the idea of immigration and all of that. In just that, those two words, Nigerian American, they're playing on that. They're playing on fears when they're talking about those two brothers. They know what they're doing.
So speaking of fears and geese, the Republicans.
Let's see how you wrap that together. Let's see how you wrap that. Go.
The Republicans have once again decided to drop Obamacare while once again not having a plan to replace it. Trump's administration wants to repeal Obamacare, and I'm only addressing this because I have a pre-existing condition. I have seizure, so it's already virtually impossible for me. I probably shouldn't have said that because I'm trying to get picked up by an insurance company. So
when you talk too much,
why they try to repeal everything, I don't understand what's changed or what hasn't changed. What are the Republicans actually trying to do at this point with Obamacare besides the fact that this man put something in place that's saving people's lives?
That is it. They are just trying to take his name off of it. They have no alternative. There's no plan. Like, stop it. We know what this is.
Tens of millions of people could lose coverage in America.
Yeah.
Invalidating the entire law could strip protections of coverage enjoyed by hundreds of millions of people. I mean, at this point, let's just leave it what it is. Obama has revamped the insurance industry for the better.
Right.
And it's been with us for 10 years. So it's been an expansion of Medicaid. It expanded the individual insurance market. It forced insurance to take on people with pre-existing conditions. Praise God. And allowed insurance to keep people up to the age of 26 when they were dropping them at 21. So why are you actually trying to repeal? I mean, besides the fact of special interests and lobbyists and people sliding money and putting things into your campaign, I don't get it. Like, I just need one Republican to get onto the Digital Grass site and explain to us why you feel that repealing Obama. Actually, I take that back. I don't want to know your feelings.
Because they didn't do it.
I don't want to know your feelings. What's the other plan? This is what I want to deal with Republicans. Quit telling us about your emotions and just tell us what's the plan to make it better. It's kind of like diversity inclusion. Quit telling us about the emotion. What's the plan to make it better? That's all we want to know.
They don't have one. The Republican Party has been playing on people's emotions since, especially with this whole Tea Party thing. Tea Party was all about playing on emotions and fears. They were able to get in and do what they did because they spoke to a population of people who were unhappy with the change that they were seeing happening in the front of their eyes. So they were able to sit there and play on that, get them to galvanize behind that movement. And then that's the whole birther movement, all this stuff that you just started to sort of see that became the whole right-wing ideology and helped to shape like this whole era that we're living in now, where people just are able to just be like crazy ridiculous with the words that come out of their mouth because they have a president in office who champions it. Yeah, that's what we're living in.
Not my ancestors, you will get these hands.
That's what we living in. They don't have a plan. They don't care. They just don't want it because it was put in place by a black man.
Y'all already cheated when y'all got
AKA
Bush in the
man.
office. Y'all wasn't mad when Reagan was bringing all them drugs and guns into the Contra, but now y'all want to complain that we actually saving people's lives.
Right, but the war on drugs played into the system of corruption, the underbelly that we talked about already. That's what it is for.
First of all,
it is for population control, black population control.
Let's just be real though. When it comes to the war on drugs, wasn't nobody cooking no eggs like that in no cast iron skillet. I just want you to know that.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
For
those who were like, what is he talking about? The commercial.
I could never relate to that. Wasn't nobody
You didn't feel like that was your brain?
Wasn't nobody cooking no eggs sunny side up in no cast iron skillet.
I thought that was my brain. I was concerned.
I never related. My grandma.
I was like, oh, shoot, that's what happens?
Maybe if they would have scrambled the eggs, I could have related to it.
It fries like that, like an egg?
I was just like,
jeez.
Mama, what is sunny side up? What is this?
For impressionable kids, that was a little shocking.
This is your brain on Facebook. Any questions?
Right. That should come out. Especially how they redlining they advertising. Oh, no, you don't get this. We don't want you to know about this opportunity. Who does that? Facebook. That's it.
So, are we going to let go of the chick to show support? So, Chick-fil-A has upped its support in the support they have with companies that are going against the LGBT community. So, based on the company's record, while they are definitely perceived to be in opposition of the LGBT community, while claiming they don't discriminate, they do admit to bankrolling anti-LGBT community. So, I don't hate, but I pay for the hate. I support. I don't hate personally. I pay others to hate. That's going to be my mantra. I'm not a hater. I pay haters.
Again, the underbelly. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't see.
But do people realize, because I was thinking about going there to get some records, the Salvation Army also has an extensive record of anti-LGBTQ activists. So I'm not taking those records back that I got for $1. I got some dope records from the Salvation Army. I'm just wondering, Latoya, are you going to stop getting those waffle fries?
Listen,
Because I'm really thinking about going there today.
oh, Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
The
You
waffle
know-
fries and that club sandwich and that. First of all, even if you just go against the fries, are you willing to cut off that lemonade?
Right. You make things so difficult. You make things so difficult. So, no, but all joking aside, like,
Yeah, we playing, guys.
yeah, all joking aside, it's a very
I
serious.
am going to Chick-fil-A. But we support the LGBT community. But we see, this is where I'm at. Like, literally, as I'm saying it, I'm thinking
You
about
feel
it.
slimy.
I do. I feel torn.
You feel slimy.
I feel like I shouldn't be going there, but
Because I like to double dip. I like to use my barbecue and my honey mustard, and I dip my
that
chicken
is-
and my french fries in both.
that is fantastic.
And eat them at the same time.
You know what? I think I'll just get my waffle fries from somewhere. I feel guilty right now.
Yeah. You feel slimy. You feel slimy. And it sucks that Chick-fil-A puts you in that situation.
Man, that's rough.
But one of the things that we know about Chick-fil-A, that they are extremely religious, right? Which is why they're not open on Sundays. You be at the mall, like, oh, I'm going to get me some Chick-fil-A.
Not happening.
Not today.
Not happening.
Come back tomorrow on Monday. It's the nature of their business. And I think what you're going to start to see is that people are just going to start to have to make hard decisions. We talk about boycotting brands when it comes to racial discrimination or supporting Colin Kaepernick. What about with the LGBTQ community? Are you going to stand up to your point and be like, I'm not doing Chick-fil-A today? Sorry, I'm going to go over here to Panda Express instead.
So my homegirl Stephanie is watching, and I'm just wondering, Stephanie, should I go get? Are we still streaming, by the way? Stephanie, should I go get the waffle fries today? Because I'm really thinking about them sauces right now. I'm torn. But
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, y'all got to get it together. Let's find a middle ground. It got to be something we can come together with. Got to be.
But that's the thing, right? So especially in this age of consumerism, we vote based on our dollar. Where we spend, it kind of has to align with like how we feel and what we value. If we want to support the LGBTQ community, then to a certain extent, we cannot sit there and spend our dollar there. Because if they're actively supporting,
So what if
that's like if a so like let's
what if I
let's-
cap my dollars? What if I only spend a certain amount?
listen. You still have people shopping at H&M after H&M had that whole thing in
True.
South Africa.
True.
It's a personal decision. It's not for a collective to make. At the end of the day, it's a personal decision because collectively, a lot of times we can't make decisions that we all agree to. It becomes a personal thing.
And we've had some good feedback from our audience. And the biggest thing is, you can't say that you have the right to be what you are, but also not give people the right of their own freedom of speech. So if those are the values of Chick-fil-A, that's those values.
Right.
As long as they're sticking with their values and they're consistent. If you know that they don't support you, don't eat there.
Right, because had Chick-fil-A been like, yeah, we low-key supporting the Taliban, oh, it would have been a whole other situation. So you have to kind of like, you have to do that sometimes. You have to sort of think about and do some comparisons and see if they sort of make sense for you and where you stand.
I'm going to get my waffle fries when we finish this show. So, quick event news. Digital Orlando for 2019 is coming up this Wednesday on April 10th, 2019. No, we are not getting paid to advertise it, but our homeboy Mike Felix is doing big things up there in Orlando, and I know Mike is a part of that whole tech scene. I have no idea if Mike is even a part of this event, but we won't be there unless our whole staff gets together and we go film up there. But
Right.
we like to show support for things
Live
that's going
remote,
on in
y'all.
floor.
Live remote.
So with the growth of UCF and everything that's going on in the technology fields, Orlando is making a big come up. I think they definitely got next. So shout out to them. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's digitalorlando.co. Digitalorlando.co. So,
Yeah.
So Toya, let's close out with our 2 sections.
Right. So in these streets, look at how synchronistic things are. So this is actually very much tied to what we were just talking about. And it's a very serious situation because the Sultan of Brunei is actually planning to move forward with implementing Sharia law. So what does that mean? So next week, the tiny Sultanate of Brunei will become the first country in Asia to make homosexuality a crime punishable by death. The change is part of a nationwide implementation of the Sharia law that was first announced in 2014. At the time, the Sultan said the decision to implement The penal code is not for fun, but is to obey Allah's command as written in the Quran. So originally, they declared that the legal changes would be gradually implemented in 3 phases. Under the first phase of the law that was implemented in May 2014, individuals who have committed the crime of having a child out of wedlock, failing to attend Friday prayer, and are seen to be promoting any form of belief other than Islam will be subjected to an Islamic court and could face imprisonment or fines. Brunei was supposed to implement the second phase that includes whipping and mutilations for Muslims found guilty of alcohol consumption and theft in 2015, and the final phase in 2016. However, following massive global backlash to the decision, the Sultan decided to delay the implementation of the remaining 2 phases. Now, 5 years later, the Sultanate plans to proceed with the violent changes beginning on April 3rd. Those found guilty of same-sex relations, adultery, sodomy, rape, and blasphemy will be whipped and stoned to death. Out of Brunei's total population of 400,000 people, 67% are Muslim and therefore subject to Sharia law. But since the first phase of Sharia law applied to both Muslims and non-Muslims, it looks like no one will be exempt from the rule. So a lot of people are trying to rally behind this and to stop this from happening on April 3rd. We're talking about this is days away from being put into place. And what's interesting is that the country actually participated in signing sort of human rights laws and things like that, but now they're kind of going against that because they're implementing Sharia law. So there are a lot of organizations that are trying to sort of stop it from a human rights perspective and just make sure that this doesn't happen. You're talking about stoning and whipping people to death for their sexual decisions, their own sexual rights.
So from our VPAD, I mean, a situation like this almost pretty much just happened in Jamaica last weekend, where a couple was walking around and the young lady had they were holding hands, but the young lady had short hair and a little bit more flat chested, and a mob was about to beat them up. And the young lady got to the point where she had to actually pull up her shirt and expose herself to prove that she was actually a female. So it's sad out there. I mean, it kind of harsh that we went from Chick-fil-A to this, but yeah.
But it's just
people have their own rights,
right? It's the spectrum of it,
yeah.
Right? So you see it happening at the corporate level with Chick-fil-A deciding to invest or give money to fund groups that are anti-LGBTQ. And then the extreme of that is a whole country about to implement laws that speak directly against and actually will punish by death people for their own sexual orientation. And so it's interesting because, right, we always like to talk about, oh, this is 2019, like so advanced, age of Aquarius, information's everywhere. But still things are so backwards. There is sort of like a recycling of old ideas. There's a turning that's kind of happening. We're seeing it with the whole thing that happened in New Zealand, what's going on there, what's going on in the States. You gotta have to just it really forces you to kind of take stock of where we are and what side of history will you be on. Decisions.
So just some quick shout outs before we get into today's ignorance to close us out. ACLU, they have the settlement case against Facebook. Once again, Facebook is in there, and that's more so about communication workers and other civil rights groups. So go check out ACLU website to see the information. Shout out to ACLU for holding us down. Locally, Where By Us. Where By Us has expanded to Pittsburgh. So Christopher, Rebecca Monson, and Bruce, congratulations on your 5th location. They have now 75,000 daily newsletter subscribers, and they reached more than 3 million people monthly across all of its platforms. Congratulations to them. And OneFi is cashing up. OneFi, the Nigeria-based company, has expanded, and they've made an acquisition of another company called Amplify. And OneFi has made a statement. They're not a bank, but they're offering more banking services focused around cheaper fund transfer, convenient bill payment, and being able to view their credit scores. And that's a Nigerian-based company. See how we do that? Nigerian-based company, not Nigerian American. Don't try to make somebody feel bad. They're doing great things. So if you want to talk about Nigeria in the news, talk about OneFi because they're helping over there. But for today's ignorance, it's not going to be too long. It's going to be kind of brief. It's a shout out to my team. It's a shout out to everybody out there. Somebody need to hear this today, whether it was in business or whether it was in a relationship. From Mr. H Grind, quit thinking the grind is free, or quit thinking that the hustle is free. Stop taking people for granted, people. People put in work. People work on their crafts. People take a lot of dedication. People take sacrifices. People put a lot into you. And the thing you got to understand is sometimes people are going to get to a point where they don't scream back. They don't yell back. They're no longer angry. They become silent. They become submissive, and they just say, okay, and they walk away. You can be erased. You're not irreplaceable. Quit just taking out of the pot without putting something into the pot. And for those that are consistently being used with your grind, your hustle, your love, or your respect, when you realize someone is just taken out, don't even get angry and realize that you've been abused or you've been taken advantage of. Just refocus your attention to those that are putting into you. Change the collateral of your investment. You don't stop investing because as a person, that's who you are. As a person, you will always you will always hustle, you will always grind, you will always want the best for people. Just put that best in the people that want the best for you. I don't have nothing more to say. That's simply my ignorance today, because the ignorance is we will be taken advantage of and you don't realize it. There's somebody out there, you're working for somebody that doesn't appreciate your work. You don't stop working, just stop working for them. There's somebody out there loving somebody that doesn't love them. You don't stop loving, just stop loving that person. There's somebody out there right now that needs to hear this message, and it might be just as much as the person delivering the message. Get to a point where you make the proper investments into the proper people, but never stop being who you are, because by nature, that's who you are. But the hustle and grind is not free. Make sure you put your deposits into the right locations. All right?
That's Mike.
That's Toya.
And this is Tech Beats and Bytes.